to never dim your light for nobody else. And that is very close to my heart, next to be the change you want to see in the world, because I was dimming my light, and I do find myself dimming my light in certain situations to make other people comfortable.
Yeah.
And that's what I would say to them, is to never dim your shine, never lower your voice to make anybody else feel comfortable. You shine, you know that you're creative, and that creativity is power. You being different is power, and you being different is resilient. And that's what we need.
Hi, Cece. How are you?
Hi, I'm good.
Oh my God.
How are you?
I'm very good. I'm so happy you're here right now. I know that we just met, but I feel like I've already known you for like my whole life.
I really do feel like we hit it off
We did.
pretty well.
We did.
Yes.
And we're going to hit off even more after we unpack all of our baggage together. So it's perfect.
I think
well, tell me
I have a lot
where
of baggage.
you're from originally. Are you from the East Coast, you said?
So, yeah, originally from the East Coast. I went to school on the East Coast.
Okay.
But originally migrated from Toronto, Canada.
Okay.
And my mom was a traveling nurse. She moved here. She actually moved to Lebanon, New Hampshire.
Okay.
Which is close to Dartmouth College.
Yeah.
And then that's where everything kind of sprung, is in Lebanon. And then I fell in love with Dartmouth. Didn't end up going to Dartmouth.
Okay.
But I competed there as a track and field athlete a lot. Yes.
Okay. And so when did you come out to Los Angeles then?
I moved to Los Angeles, California in 2022.
Well, tell me about your childhood. Do you have siblings, and are you close with your family?
Yes, I do have siblings. My mom's a single mom, as far as I know. She does have a fiance, and he helped raise me.
Okay.
They're married at this point, but I wasn't invited to the wedding. But I was their only child in the house. I have an older brother and a sister. We all lived in Jamaica, moved to Canada, migrated to Canada, became Canadian, and then we all kind of dispersed and did our own thing. We have family that lives in New York and stuff. So I traveled back and forth from Canada and Jamaica, and yeah, I lived in both places and went to school in both places.
So you were born in Jamaica, and
Yes.
then you migrated to Canada. What are your favorite parts about being Jamaican?
My favorite parts about being Jamaican is the food, the athletic nature.
Yeah.
Too.
Okay.
I like being a Jamaican athlete. Honestly, the culture, I love the Jamaican culture. A lot of it is very heteronormative.
Okay.
And you have to unlearn a lot of things. But the culture is just so rich and beautiful, and everything that everybody makes it out to be and more.
Yeah, I've been to Jamaica, and it was beautiful. It was absolutely stunning. And there was a cliffside bar that you could go and jump into the water. I did not do that, but I watched other people do it. So I was like, you know what? I'm here in spirit. You know, I don't do that. I'm like, y'all can do it. I'll record it, but I'm not going to be jumping off a cliff.
I don't do heights.
Whenever you were younger, do you have an early memory of maybe a self-recognition or maybe a gender dysmorphia where, an earlier memory from one childhood?
Honestly, as young as I can remember, I would just remember being surrounded by women.
Okay.
And I have male cousins and stuff too, but it's like the boys stuck together and the women stuck together.
Okay.
And I was kind of the baby in the house at the time, and I was surrounded by a lot of women.
Yeah.
So I was influenced by my mother and my sister, and I told myself I'm going to bloom into my mother one day. Oh. And that was the narrative I had my whole entire life. That was my mom was my influence, my aunt was my influence, my sister was the epitome of influence because she was smart, she was beautiful, and she was talented.
Yeah.
And I kind of wanted to be like my sister.
Okay.
Right? And my mom was gorgeous. Everybody loved her. And yeah, and then I got the reality that
Yep.
And I think it was middle school or it was in elementary school. We were learning the difference between the sexes.
Okay.
I think it was 5th or 6th grade. I can't remember. Sometimes when you go through trauma, you suppress the memories.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm there's a point in your childhood you learn the difference between the sexes, right?
Okay.
Sex education, whatever it may be.
Mm-hmm.
And then it still didn't hit me. Okay? When it hit me was when I was leaving class after learning the difference between boy and girl, and I was just so fixated on the girl anatomy and everything, and I was like, that's me. So that's one thing, but everything else is me. I'm like, yes. I was so happy that day. My mom came to pick me up and everything, and I was like, wow, what a nice surprise. And then I told my mom, I was like, Mom, the thing that made me know I was gonna bloom into her and be a woman is that I'm gonna see my period.
Okay.
And I was like, Mom, I'm going to see my period one day. And then she looked at me and slapped me right across the face.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm. In front of all my friends and in front of their family and everything. She just couldn't believe that her little quote unquote boy or son that came out of their mouth. You know what I mean? So when I said that to her, I knew something was wrong immediately. Mm-hmm. So when she like grabbed me and like told me to get into the car, that's when I knew that like something was wrong.
Okay. Yeah, because I mean, at that age, you're just expressing yourself and your most authentic self, right? Like, I feel like, unfortunately, a lot of times with the LGBTQ plus community, unfortunately, a lot of our first experiences with bullying or being told that we can't be who we are comes from the adults in our lives, whether that is mentors or your parents or family members who are telling you, no, you can't be this way. It's not because you understand how society works, right? It's, we don't have an understanding of that at that age. You just want to be who you feel you know what I mean? Like that's
exactly.
So I'm so sorry that happened to you, because I think at that point, I would imagine you're feeling a lot of internalized confusion, absolutely, shame in a lot of ways. Is that kind of what you had gone through at that time?
Yes, I went through a lot of that, and you're so right. Like as a child, you're just looking, you feel safe with your family and your parents, but at that time, like I did feel after that whole thing happened, I was like, something is wrong. Like, where did I go wrong? Like, what do I do? You know? And then so I had to replay everything in my head. I just remember like replaying what was the thing that made it wrong. And then so when the reality struck in, I'm like, to me, it was something that was like, my mom was a strong person and she's been through a lot. We've been through a lot together. I want to be like her.
Yeah.
She protects me. She's my safe haven, and she loves me. And there's a huge period of my life where she wasn't there. And I still feel like I was going to bloom into my mother and my sister, So I didn't know what to do.
Yeah. At what point did your coming out journey take place? Because I would assume only that, from the time that you were younger and you started to suppress that, as you had mentioned before, it might have taken a couple of years to come around to that idea again, or what was that evolution like?
That evolution was college.
Okay. Yeah. So it did take a couple of years. Yeah.
That evolution that was just coming out of like, I can't live a double life anymore, but the double life started in middle school.
Okay.
I wanted to wear fitted clothes, and I only hang around, like, I had girlfriends. I didn't have boyfriends. The guys hated me anyways. I was really good at sports, and that was the only reason why they liked me, and that was the reason why they didn't bully me as worse as it could have been.
Okay.
And all of my friends were girls, and the guys wanted to get with my friends. Okay. So they had to respect me on some sort of level without embracing me.
Okay.
And athleticism was always about another protection that was equal to my mother. That coming out was kind of hard, but going to school back and forth in middle school was where it triggered. I was wearing tight clothes. I was, in middle school, you weren't really defined as like how you look as much. It was pretty much about like the group of people you hung out with at the time. We were watching Disney Channel. We were doing our thing. Like, you know what I mean?
Yep.
In Canada, it was Family Channel. Okay. But in Jamaica, it was Disney Channel.
Okay.
It wasn't like I was still finding myself, but I was one of the girls.
Yeah.
But when it came to high school, first year of high school in Toronto, Canada, Scarborough, Ontario, and I saw what the senior boys looked like.
Yeah. Yep.
And the junior boys looked like. Okay. And the sophomore boys looked like. And what the girls were like. I was like, oh my God, like there's no more middle school. It's high school. Like you got to be a big girl now. And then now I was packing clothes in my bag and like changing while I got to school because I couldn't do it at home. My mom was there.
Yeah.
At one point I started stealing my sister's makeup and putting it on. My mom caught me.
Oh my God.
Yes, she caught me. Because my face was one time I said bye to her and I stayed too long. The lights were off though.
Yeah.
And I said bye to her and she was like, wait, hold on. Your face is too smooth. Turn the light on. I was like, damn, I'm busted.
Yeah. You're like,
yeah. So I was wearing makeup. I was bringing like extra clothes and stuff to school and like
So it's a true double life.
I was myself as soon as I left my apartment building.
Okay.
Like, I wasn't pretending to be anybody else. Like, I was fully me, and I was doing me outside of that door.
People always say, it's a choice, or you have to choose to do this. But I'm like, no, it's the only thing that you have to choose. It's a choice between life or death.
Sure.
And if anything, there's a masking that has to take place to hide who you are, truly, because people make you feel unsafe.
And I'm gonna tell you how I had to reinvent that word of hiding. I had to protect who I was.
I love that. Yeah.
So that mask was for protection, not for hiding. Because had I doubled down, had I told my parents could have taken my life because it did happen along the way. Like they did attempt once I came out and we went back to Jamaica and all this. We're gonna talk about it, of course, but it came to my like epiphany that it was for protection, not for hiding.
Yeah. No.
My Jamaicans are lethal. If you're outside of the heteronormative spectrum or binary, they are lethal toward you. They're okay to tomboys and lesbians. That's fine. That's not real. But it's a European mindset of two girls, you know what I mean? Male erotica, two women. They don't care if they're lesbians or like, we're still gonna like that. We'll let that slide.
Yeah.
But anything else, a male presenting feminine or anything like that, and he doesn't have a wife or a girlfriend or kids, no.
Yeah.
Like, they're going to be shunned. They're going to be bullied. They're going to be subject to death.
Yeah.
At the time when I was younger, it's like if you are anything other than straight, if you're a feminine presenting male or gay or anything, they're going to kill you. And that's okay.
And you're like, no, it's not even an exaggeration.
It's okay for everybody.
That's
okay that they kill you.
Yeah.
One more Batiman out of the way.
Yeah.
That's what they call it.
It's so I do a lot of travel content, and one of the platforms that I created before this was all travel based, and how LGBTQ plus people can be more mindful and safe while traveling to places that might not be as welcoming.
We need that.
And one of the things that we talk about was how there are, give or take, around 70 countries still where LGBTQ plus identities are criminalized, and one of the countries is Jamaica, and it's one of the, I would say, definitely one of the more strict of, especially the Caribbean islands, right? How did you navigate that growing up, especially because you were living a double life in a sense, but also wanting to protect yourself and especially against people who do want to cause that harm?
Honestly, looking back at it right now, that's a good question. How I navigated that was like, looking back on it, is being Jamaican, being born Jamaican, you already had some sort of respect. People already looked at you in some sort of way.
Okay.
And like being the athletes that they are in the representation of the Olympics, like you already have some level of expectation.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And I saw that was imprinted on me. That was expected of me everywhere I went, every school I went to so many different schools. I have so many different friends from so many different places. And the key figure is that, like, one of the key things is that I was just a great athlete everywhere I went. And that was my way of integrating and protecting me from the harm that could have been worse.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So being Jamaican and people knowing that, like, she's from Jamaica, like, the food's probably good. Her mom's probably nice. Like, she grew up grew up with a little bit of couth.
Yeah.
So and she's not Black American.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's the difference.
It's like another layer of that protection.
And then plus, like, I was in Canada, so American wasn't even like a part of it.
Okay.
There's a Jamaican community in Canada. A lot of my friends were also mixed, and they were mixed with Jamaican. Like, half of them were Jamaican, and the other half was like European or other, like, Asian.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you still had like a diverse group of friends around.
Yeah.
That's okay. That's
Toronto
great.
is known as like the multicultural capital, diversity, and like mixed babies of the world. Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So at least, do you feel like you found a community more so in Toronto by being through diverse people?
I would say I definitely found a community, but I found more of like a pass.
Okay.
And it was easier for me to hide.
Okay.
Because, people saw Jamaican before they saw, like,
Yeah. It just blows my mind, too, because it's like there's so many layers of, again, protecting yourself. And it's not even just protecting yourself in the place where you're from, but it's also protecting yourself in a sense of culture and friendships, family.
Yes.
I mean, there's just so many layers to it.
And I tried to tell my family, nobody can say I didn't try. I wore the shoes. I stole my mom's heels.
Yeah.
I spoke to her. I wanted dolls instead of action figures. Like,
Yeah.
I remember getting an action figure and he could walk and I was scared of him.
Yeah.
I ran from him. He was a soldier.
See, I wish that we were friends at childhood because I wanted the G.I. Joes. I wanted those, and then you could have the Barbies because I didn't want them. Like, we could have switched toys. That would have been, honestly, that should have happened.
Yes.
In the next life, that's going to happen.
And I'm telling you, they knew too, because I as a baby, as a really like baby, they couldn't discipline me.
Yeah.
But then down the line, they saw, like, they noticed more things.
Of
but
course.
My mom, it later on disclosed that she thought it was gay, not trans.
Yeah. Well, I think, and obviously,
which is even worse.
And I think that's the rhetoric that we're seeing more and more and more right now, which blows my mind because trans consent has always been there, right? And I feel like they're trying to find another scapegoat. And I feel like that's definitely something that we're going to talk about too. But I wish, I was curious if there was something that you wish people would understand more about what it means to be a trans woman. What would be something that you would say?
Definitely number one, that this is not a choice, because we were born the most favorited choice, apparently, or we were assigned birth as the most protected and favorited choice. So to switch would be folly. It's not a choice. The only choice was to live or to not live. And that was a very, very, very hard decision. And I was the only person in that room making that decision. So that's why I had to choose me. And everybody trans experience is different. There's a lot of trans women that don't think that I deserve to be an athlete, or I deserve to be an Olympian, or have female accolades as an athlete, because they don't, I don't know, their story was different than mine. They identified maybe as gay or as a boy before they transitioned. They had a transition. I was born this way.
Yeah.
Anybody asked me if I was gay, I never answered, because I didn't identify as a gay person.
Yeah.
Like, no. The answer was always no, or I just didn't answer because you were uneducated. And if I said no, you wouldn't believe me.
You wouldn't believe you. Yeah.
So it's not a choice. I was yearning for something, and that's when I found what the word transgender was. That's what saved me, because there was nothing else that I could identify with. So what was the point of me being here?
And I want to ask you, on the other side of that, what is your favorite things about being trans?
My favorite things about being trans is, like, I have a lot to bring to the table. I'm very valuable. I first spread love, light, embracing energy, because that's what I didn't have, So, and I know what it feels like to walk into a room and people just look at you and hate you. So I love first.
Yeah.
And I always say I love you to people, and they always look at me crazy. So I just love that about me, that I'm different in that way, because I understand what it's like to be on the other end of that. Yeah. So I lead with empathy and love and joy and just acceptance and embrace first. Yeah. And then I think that's very powerful. Yeah, to be honest.
Absolutely. I read in an article that you did. I did a little research, I did a little research that you said in an article that you want to be the change you wish to see in the world.
Yes.
And it gave me chills, because I feel like that is so beautiful, that you've had all of these things that have happened to you, and a lot of them being very traumatic, and you still choose love. And I think that speaks volumes about who you are as a person.
And it's not easy.
It's not. And it's not going to be easy. It never is. But I think that ultimately it's the most rewarding.
It's the most rewarding.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Absolutely. And I know you talked about your athleticism. And I would love to hear about, when did you fall in love with sports? When was that journey like for you? Were you always a track star, or what? Were you just like running around? Like, how did you fall in love with sports?
Honestly, yes. I was always a track athlete. I was always a track star.
Yeah.
It was hard to integrate myself into athletics because it was so segregated. Okay. So running was a little bit more integrative and like diverse. Yeah. And I can play all sports, but I'm like the girly girl to the top tier max, but when it comes to sports, you can't outsport me. Right. But I don't know why. It doesn't make sense. Yeah. But being born Jamaican first, like, you were born being an athlete, I can say, because in pre-K, they create different ways to incorporate running in your classroom. So I can remember, for example, being in the first grade and in elementary school, we had sports day. All year, you meet up once every month with your different color house, and you chant, you make mockery and stuff of the other groups, say that they're slow or whatever. It's just all fun and games. And then towards the end of the school year, you guys have sports day, which is the best house, has the best athletes, gets the best accolades.
Okay, y'all are all
exactly.
It's my day. Let's go.
I remember being in math class as a toddler, and I had to solve a math question. But in order to solve the math question, I had to run to it. And I had to run to it, solve it, and then come back and give it to the teacher. And you didn't win the race, because even if you make it there first, the question had to be right. Okay. You would have to solve the problem correctly. Yeah. So even if you do it, and then you come back and it's wrong, and the other person stayed 2 minutes and got it right and then came back, they won.
Oh, okay. You know that you reminded me of like The Challenge or something, whenever like those reality shows where they go and race and stuff. I feel like I'm like eating popcorn while you're telling me these things. I'm like, who won?
Can you imagine these kids at a young age are having these competitive mindsets? And it's bestowed upon most of them. Like it's forced out of them.
Right. So you know what? Maybe I would have been better at math if I had to run to it. I don't know. Actually,
let me tell you, I hate that. That traumatized me because I lost. Psychologically, I was like, whoa, but I crossed the finish line first.
Yeah.
And I answered the question. Like,
they're like, but
it had to be right.
You're like, no, these rules were not clear enough.
Exactly.
When did you start being an athlete professionally, like, on taking that step towards like a more competitive level?
I was going to school in Canada, but I had to stay in Jamaica for a little bit.
Right. Okay.
And I went to high school and I joined the track team and the volleyball team. And then the track team, I didn't go all the way because it became too like separative, and people were like, the bullying was too much. But anyways, when I started competing in Canada, when I went to high school is when I started to take it like super serious, because the seniors and the girls and boys trained together.
Okay.
And then the seniors were just like very influential. And I was like, I can do this. I'm like, every school I went to, I tried to do a different sport because I knew I was good at track.
Okay.
I was good at running.
Yeah.
I was going to make the team.
Yeah.
And I told myself, the whole time I wasn't going to go to the Olympics, because if I can't go as the person that I feel like my mom or my sister, I'm not going to do it. But I feel like I have what it takes.
Yeah.
I knew. I said this to myself the whole entire time.
Yeah.
We made it to nationals. I was forced to make it to nationals because the team ended up being really well. And we made it to nationals for the 400 and 4x1 relays.
Okay.
This was in Kingston, Jamaica now. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I remember being on that field thinking, I'm going to go to the Olympics. And I'm going to say no, though, because, like, if they're not going to accept me as me, I can't. But I remember feeling and seeing it over my head. I'm going to go to the Olympics. I'm going to the Olympics, but I'm going to say no. And it happened. But it happened the other way around. They said no to me. Isn't that crazy?
That's crazy.
So that was, like, the moment where I knew that, like, track was always going to be my sport. And I was always going to be the best at what I do, because that's where I belong. But I never knew that I can fully do it.
Right. And then you ended up being the first openly trans woman to win an NCAA title. Yeah.
College was the step where they finally embraced me, where I felt like I couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't like run in the sport that I love as a woman, regardless if I was running with boys or girls. So that's why I was like, but I hit the point where I was like, I can't do this anymore, because I was getting fast and my name was getting out there and people were like, who is this girl to look out for? And I was like, no, I need to compete as me. And then boom, I said, I have to step away and walk away from the team, because I have to figure it out. And if I can't come back as me, then I can't come back at all. And the coach was like, girl, you could have done this whole time.
Wow.
And we were waiting for you to do this.
Okay.
We always knew this was you, but we were waiting for you to come to us and tell us
And
this.
How did that feel, hearing that from a mentor, from a coach? Was that liberating?
It was so liberating. I didn't know what to say. I was so happy, but so mad, because I was like, why didn't you talk to me? Why didn't you? I needed somebody to talk to. I had nobody. Mm-hmm. You know, being Black and Jamaican, therapy, what is that? That's white people things. What? So that suppressed that shit.
Yeah.
So I was like, no, I just got to work through it and like grow it out, and like psychology and biology was my major, so the more I learned was the more I was able to apply that to myself.
Yeah, right.
Give my own self.
Well,
then so I was like, why
I would
didn't you tell
imagine
me?
too, though, you probably had suppressed feelings from whenever you had that feeling whenever you went to sex ed when you were a kid, right?
Yes.
Like
Yes.
when you first experienced or you expressed who you are, and you were, the result of that was really harmful.
Yes.
And I would imagine that then trying to speak up about that again would be terrifying.
Yes.
So of course you wouldn't have said anything. I mean, that's hard though, whenever you just need someone to come out and say that it's okay. Like, we have your back, we support you fully, right?
100%.
Yeah. Wow.
And at that point, I cut my family off, because they pretty much cut me off.
Okay.
And something happened like that Christmas before my sophomore year, and that confirmed everything. And I went home to New York to go see my mom, and I had to take my piercings and everything out, take out my extensions, and like had to like hide my hair and everything. It was so bad. I wrote a book. Oh my God, I wrote a book. Make it count. It's in the book. I'm like telling my whole story. I'm like, I wrote a book.
Yeah.
So
good.
That happened in New York, and it was just like the confirmation of like, girl, you got to do you no matter what. And my whole life, since I was 10 years old until that moment of college, I was like 18, I was doing like unspeakable things to affirm myself and my womanhood.
Okay.
And I will say it on the record. It's in my book. But like, you know, my sister, my mom, and everybody was like, they were taking birth control, they were doing their things, and I was like, oh, this is what makes you a woman, you know? That's why they said, don't leave these packages lying around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I was like, this is gonna make me a woman. And then like, you know, you have the internet So I'm like, but I'm like, if I had the therapy and I had the guidance that I needed as a child, and you know what I mean? I had somebody to see me at young age. Maybe I didn't have to do these things. Maybe I didn't have to investigate myself. Maybe I didn't have to, like help myself get to where I needed to be in a way that might have been harming me at the time than helping me. But God forbid. I mean, God bless, it was helping me the whole entire time kind of thing. You know what I mean? Because that was the road I needed to be on anyways. It's naturally elevating my estrogen and lowering my testosterone.
And then that led you to writing your book, which is then going to help other people around the world, which is just incredible. And I think that you sharing your story is so special in that regard because...
Definitely having a story and a script where people can go back.
Yeah, and also just the representation in itself. Because I think that right now we're seeing so much political divide, so much controversy. And it's just like, I can't even imagine the level of just... Oh my God. Just tolling it is.
It's unfathomable. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like if I didn't have athletics, I wouldn't... I don't know. Yeah. I couldn't.
Yeah. With athleticism, because you did win the NCAA.
Yes. Sorry, we're jumping.
No, you're good. Yeah, so I was like, I want to make sure I cover that too because it's so impressive. You know, you are also the first openly trans woman to win an NCAA title. I am. Champion. We know champion. Like, congratulations. That's huge. Thank you so much. And what was that moment like? Was that something where you're just like, I mean, you've made it, you did it as who you are, the blossoming woman that you are, right? And after your coach told you that you can do it, and then you went out and did it. How did that feel?
At the time, it felt incredible, but at the time, I didn't feel as good as I'm feeling like now. Okay. Or like last year. Yeah. I felt like a lot of people was taking that away from me because the noise was loud, but in the moment, I didn't feel as good as I should have felt because I saw it as another step towards my validating me towards the Olympics, towards my dream, and towards me being a physical manifestation of what I want, which is to be the change that I want to see in the world, which is to be on the Olympic stage. Because there's no woman like me. There's nobody like me. And if there is, they'll never come out now. Mm-hmm. Sorry.
No, I mean, it's okay.
They don't have a choice because the world athletics would expose them. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No.
Am I allowed to say that?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, anything.
You never, they won't keep anything secretive. Like, they will, if you're intersex, they'll expose you. If you're trans, they'll expose you. So even if there's happens to be a girl battling with whoever, and that's kind of they will never step up. What
we're talking about, lately is there's become this, like, for lack of better terms, a witch hunt, right? Where it's not just trans individuals is hurting, which is excruciating trauma that it's causing. It's also queer people. It's also straight women. It's also straight cis women. It's also men who are more feminine. And, it's hurting everybody. It's not just one community that it's hurting. This rhetoric, these harmful words, the way that they're picking people and spotlighting them and then stripping them of title. It's
I'm
just
sorry,
like,
we're jumping again.
No, you're okay.
It's my fault.
No, you're okay. And I just feel like I think that it's really important to call it out, that this is not just an isolated conversation, that this harms everybody. You now have used your athleticism to build more advocacy and become more of an activist for your community. Why is it so important for you to use your athleticism to create more visibility for other people in your community?
That's perfect because I did see it. Because I wanted to see a physical manifestation of my dreams on, the Olympic stage or in the athletic world. Athletics, like I said, saved my life. It's very important to me. So to be an athlete and to pave the road or pave the way along for other trans girls little trans girls to come is beautiful. Yeah. I didn't have that. Yeah. Actually, there was 2 girls in high school, Andrea Yearwood and Terry Miller, at the time where I was like qualifying for nationals. I was on the floor in my dorm crying and like beating myself up because the world hates me for being trans and being an athlete and there's nobody like me. And I was like, you know what? Actually, I haven't really Googled or like gone on YouTube and searched, and I did. I went on YouTube and there was 2 girls, Andrea Yearwood and Terry Miller, and they were in high school and they were going through the same thing. Okay. With at the same time I was going through it. Okay. They had their parents to help them and like protect them and like back them. I feel like I didn't have anybody. Okay. But once I saw that, I was like, I have them, and now I have to do it for them. Yeah. Because even though they have their family don't really understand. Yeah. Absolutely. So as an athlete, like, I'm gonna do it for myself, but like this I'm gonna do it for them too because they gave up athletics because they feel like they couldn't be here and be in this position. And I'm here to tell them that they can. I'm here to show them that they can. And we're friends now today. And I'm so grateful to know these ladies, beautiful heart angels.
Someone tuning in and maybe they're going through their own struggles of coming out, or maybe their own self-expression, and they also want to go into athletics. What would be a piece of advice that you would give to them?
I would say, like, something that really keeps ringing in my head that Chris Mosier, trans man and athlete, said to me was to never dim your light for nobody else. And that is very close to my heart, next to be the change you want to see in the world, because I was dimming my light, and I do find myself dimming my light in certain situations to make other people comfortable.
Yeah.
And that's what I would say to them, is to never dim your shine, never dull your creativity or lower your voice to make anybody else feel comfortable. You shine. You know that you're creative, and that creativity is power. You being different is power, and you being different is resilient. And that's what we need.
I love it. Oh my gosh. Okay. You have now taken your platform and this resilience that you've built within yourself and your core, and you've now created it to be your why, right? Now you have a book. Now you're on the Women's Coalition. Now you are building all these ways that are pathways to helping other trans women be able to follow their dreams as well. When did activism become a part of this for you?
I wish I could say I'm an activist. I feel like I would say I'm more of an advocate.
Okay, an advocate.
I feel like activists like really go in and dive deep.
Okay.
You know? And I just feel as though that I still want to pursue 2028.
Yep.
And being an advocate is the best path for me, because it keeps people seeing the educational standpoint that I'm coming from. And, hopefully they can open up their heart to the most extreme of trans people, which is athletes, I guess.
Yeah.
And if they can do that, you know, they can in turn become allies and help with policy change and advocate for us in rooms that we're not a part of. So using my book, Make It Count, My Fight to Be the First Transgender Olympic Runner by CeCé Telfer, yours truly, like that can also help them.
Yeah, I love it. And, you had mentioned your pathway to the 2028 Los Angeles Open Trials.
Yes.
What is that pathway looking like for you right now? And what is that journey looking like?
Kirstie.
You're like,
girl,
I need another hour.
Rough.
I'm
gonna try to give you a quick rundown.
Yeah.
I moved to LA to be an Olympian, to have access to year-round training. So 2022, Paris is in 2024.
Okay.
Right? And I'm like, damn, I need to I need to make my other shot. And I had UCLA and I was training there. I was making it happen by myself. I met a few coaches. They were very interested by watching me train by myself, and they were very, they were interested, and they were like, wow, amazed.
Amazed, okay.
They were like, intrigued.
Starstruck.
They were like, I want her to train with my athletes.
Okay, yeah.
And then somebody Googled me, and then that all shut down, and they didn't want to train me anymore. And it was really, so that took away pretty much UCLA training grounds for me. So now I'm training at LA Fitness.
Okay.
It's really hard to be in that environment because these people look at me like they've never seen somebody like me before, or women don't look like me or belong in the gym. So I get a lot of teasing and taunting at the gym. I get a lot of people staring at me and recording me. And it's just it's a lot of distraction because it's not a professional athlete environment.
Right.
And I try to mind my business. I try to focus, but it's really, really hard. I try to train on the streets, and then I have cars pulling me over, asking me to get in, asking me if I'm working. I can't walk down the street because people think that I'm a working girl. So it's just there's all of these things that are preventing me from staying focused and being in the environment and training environment that I need to be in. And I was getting a lot of this on the East Coast too, but a big part of it was the weather. I couldn't do it when it started to snow or when it get too cold. And post-COVID, a lot of universities and places that I was allowed to be in had big restriction on who they let in due to our post-COVID. So Los Angeles was the best place for me to be, and I can train outside. I can find a place to go. Runyon Canyon was a place where I trained a lot. I was able to put my hoodie on and just focus and trained. Being a professional athlete with the Olympic hopeful banner, which is it expires, right? that it's hard to thrive in environments that are not like that keeps pushing you out. And
I mean, I think a lot of it,
like,
I mean, a lot with being a professional athlete is the psychology behind it as well, right? And if your environment is not putting you in a space where it allows you to thrive, that's difficult. It's an additional layer of difficulty that that people might not realize that comes with being a professional athlete.
Yes. And then going into the bathrooms and changing, like, that's crazy. I had a woman look at me and she was like, "Are you a woman?" And I said, "Yes." And she's like, "No, you're not." So I didn't have that altercation with her, but like I answered yes, and then I walked away.
Yeah.
So it's just like,
it's just one thing after another. It feels like just
this didn't happen in college. They protected me. My coaches protected me. My university protected me. My president protected me. The NCAA protected me. Like the other athletes backed me up. I think it was the hate of other athletes was very minimal because they got to know me.
Okay.
And then that curiosity or question mark went from like, I know this person, to I have questions, to these questions are answered, to now this person needs to be protected.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Okay. And that's where it comes from. They need to know you in order to advocate for you or protect you.
I think that it surprises me in a sense too, where people in Los Angeles, like there is more representation. You do see more communities here of the LGBTQ plus community. There are more events. There are more, I would say, give or take, opportunities versus places that are versus in like the South.
Until you're an athlete.
Yeah, and where I'm from in the South, where there was zero representation, and so it's even more of a humbling realization as you're saying this, that even in places like Los Angeles, there's still so much progress that needs to be taken in order to allow you to live freely. And, I think that is something that I'm hoping that continues to progress through, especially through advocacy about all of us, Yes. It shouldn't be on your shoulders to have to carry that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And organizations like the Christopher Street Project has invited me to their space to be a part of their table because they don't know my story or know what it's like to be like me, so they invited me. Okay. And that's what it takes.
Yeah.
But another part that I wanted to highlight when you were speaking is that, yes, Los Angeles is different compared to other places, but significantly, the athlete asterisk changes. It's completely different. Everybody wants to accept you and love you until you're a transgender female athlete competing in women's sports. Then everybody's like, whoa.
Yeah.
The support all of a sudden is out the window.
Yeah.
It's unfathomable. It's unfathomable, even in my own community. They're like, whoa, girl, what?
Yeah.
You shouldn't be doing that. I'm like, we don't have the same journeys. We don't have this. People also think that we just wake up and be athletes. No, there are rules and regulations. Like, I was only able to compete in college because I've been following the rules the whole time, not knowing that I was following the rules. Right. A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah. As you had mentioned before, the testosterone levels. Is that what you're saying? Then making
sure being on hormones. Yeah. Like, I mean, I was on hormones prior to that, but on paper and on record, I was going through it without even knowing that I was going through it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And that's what gave me the green light. Yeah. Otherwise, I would have had to wait a certain amount of time and then undergo and proceed.
I think that that's something that we're seeing as like a continuous issue right now, is people fear what they don't know. And unfortunately, the political power right now is pushing, and they're weighing on that. They're hoping that people
and they're taking away the education. Yeah. They're taking away the things that are there, because the questions they have are like, the books are there, but they're banning the books.
Right.
They're defunding education, which is like, you have questions, and sciences and facts don't matter anymore, because sciences and facts says that I can compete in the women's category and I have no threat, but people want to be like, nope.
Yep.
That's boo. That's gibberish. Right. Now you want to choose what sciences and facts are real.
Right.
So that's another part.
Yeah. And it comes down to like whose opinion on what science counts and which doesn't. Who gets to decide that? And that's the scary part right now, is we're seeing that the people in power are deciding that for the masses, and they're taking, even the bisexual community and the transgender community have been taken off of the travel.gov website. We're seeing it being removed from the Stonewall.
Gone.
And it's just like, at what point are people going to wake up that this isn't stopping? This is only building momentum. And that's where I'm, I think that's why I wanted to make this podcast, to create and amplify the stories that they're currently trying to silence, because it's going to take that from all of us to be able to stand together. And I feel like, and especially what you're doing is just like, this is a track pun, the hurdles, all the hurdles are here, but I'm going to push through anyways. And I'm just like, I'm so empowered by you. You're a part of the Unique Women's Coalition. Can you tell me more about that and what that means to you?
Yes, so I'm a part of the Unique Women's Coalition, which is a Black trans-led coalition in West Hollywood.
Okay.
And it's awesome because it's particularly like owned by a Black trans woman.
Okay.
And she caters to the community and she helps us to find resources and just like re-navigate trans women, Black trans women coming to the city that need resources on like, let's say housing or food or like bus or like transportation wise. They help us navigate like towards those resources and how to get them. You know, name changing documentations is one of the things that they also do. Services that they help with. We're growing. We're growing.
That's amazing. I mean, just knowing that these resources are
there's
huge.
There's a trans Latina coalition that we work with. So there's a Black trans coalition and a Latina coalition.
It's amazing.
Which is one of the two like most underfunded communities on the LGBTQ spectrum. So that's why these coalitions do exist.
And they're growing, which is the very empowering part as well. Let's say there's an ally that's tuning in right now, and there's something that you hope that allies could be more mindful of when it comes to protecting and or being better allies for Black trans women or men. What would that be?
I would say to be a good ally, be like a little bit more kind to us. You can have questions and you can ask questions in a nice way. But when it comes to a dangerous situation, definitely, like if you understand the situation, try to help out. Because as queer folks and as trans women, as Black trans women particularly, sometimes people are just, we most of the times we're harmed because we just enter the room. So that's literally it. We don't know the person. We've never, like, they just don't like us because they can see our transness and they don't like that and they feel like they can harm us and get away with it. If you see something, definitely say something. And a trans girl, you know, competing and you might hear like an opposing teammate or team say something out of the blue, and you're in a particular situation to educate them, do so. That's what I meant when I say see something, say something. Apply like sportsmanship to trans people. How about that?
I love that. I love that. That's such a good way of putting it
I'm
too.
such an
because
athlete. Oh my god!
Are you a champion?
What's happening
Are
here?
you an Olympic hopeful or what?
Thank you.
That's amazing. So I kind of wanted to go into the next point of talking about faith and spirituality. Yes. So you are a Christian, right?
Yes.
And what is your, you know, I know that with the Christian background, a lot of people assume that Christianity and LGBTQ plus identity can't coexist. But what does that actually mean to you and your relationship with your faith?
With my faith has become definitely more intertwined with spirituality. God has always led with love and understanding first. And that's the epitome of who I am. And with other people, if they can't lead with that, then you're not a Christian, because that's the number one rule. That's the first thing that you have to follow in order to be Christian. You can't just ignore that and then do everything else. Yeah. And I always try to practice love and understanding first. So that's why I'm very intertwined with my Christianity and my spirituality, because that's what God preaches and that's what I am as God's number one rule. And that's what it is love and understanding.
I love it. So. And when it comes to like your mental health journey, how are you protecting your peace during a time when you are looking forward to these giant leaps of athleticism and these big milestones, but also you're a public figure too? How do you protect your peace in this journey?
Oh my God.
You're like, I don't.
Girl, that is a really good question.
Yeah,
girl,
you're like, actually,
oh I don't know. Finally, somebody's asking me. But it's oh my God, it's so rough, and I'm sure everybody's going through it, and it's tough for everybody, and you know it's hard out here for everybody. But I have a layer of that is unfathomable to like everybody. Like I have a layer that is like a lot of people can't understand, and we're seeing it now. Like it's very unusual for a president to scapegoat the most minute group of people and get away with it on so many levels, and it's turning around. So we're focused on my mental health. I train. I still try to like show up at the gym when I can and like get that workout in, because the dopamine that releases after that, like that's why I'm an athlete, because I indulge myself so much into my sport that it becomes my therapy.
Okay, yeah.
And therapy, lots of it. Right now it's really, really hard because my insurance is being taken away from me, and so there goes my therapy, and I haven't had therapy for a while, and I'm going through it because 2028 is coming up. I need help. I need at least a little bit of therapeutic guidance on how to navigate the situation without a coach and without like the people on my team that I need to be around me. Because, you know, as an athlete of my stature, it's easy to get distracted, and certain days being an athlete feels like it doesn't serve me because it caused more mental harm. Thinking about like all the hate, I feel like everybody hates me and nobody wants to speak up for me. That hurts some days, you know, so it's hard to get out of bed on those days. And on those days where I'm like, you know what? Well, I'm going to go out tonight. I'm going to put those heels on. I'm going to put my makeup on, and I'm going to feel very pretty, like the princess and queen empress that I am on the inside, and take her out for once. You know what I mean? And how I decompress is I love to go clubbing. I love to go dancing. And when I go clubbing, I don't go to drink. I don't go to talk to people. I don't go to get to know anybody. Please don't bother me. Please don't come up to me and don't say anything to me, because ass will be dropped, floor will be moved, and I will be shaking ass in a deli all the time.
Wait, can I come with you?
Absolutely.
I won't bother you, but I'll just be on the other side of the room.
When
like
I say
this.
don't bother me, I mean like when I'm with my crew. Yeah, I'm like, please, like I'm really just trying to go to this club and just have fun and dance. And just like, if you want to dance with us, like that's different.
Let's do it.
But don't be weird and keep it cute. Yeah. Right?
Yes. I can do it. I can try. Remember how we did our harmonious dancing earlier?
Yes.
That's going to be us at the club. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. I think that's one of the ways. It's amazing to hear you use that as a form of not even escapism, but it's just like you're stepping back into your fullest power by like feeling beautiful. And when you look good, you feel good. You go out, you're like, this is my bubble. You're with your friends, you're dancing.
And taking care of the people that love me.
It's amazing. There's someone that was tuning in right now, and maybe they're struggling right now with their own mental health, and the world feels a little heavy. What is some advice that you would give to them?
I would say that if you're struggling because the world is a little bit heavy right now, is that's okay. That is normal and that is human. And I want to let you know that like you feeling that way is a normal human response to what is happening around you. And especially if you are a trans folk, especially of color, with the world trying to erase you from society, just know that you have to rely on the systems and your friends around you, and more than ever, and any queer and LGBTQ folks as well listening, like you have to, or watching, you have to rely on the things that make you happy more than ever, and cut out the things that make you second guess or doubt. Before the state of the world was like it was, we could have, you know what I mean, like power through it. There's no powering through. We're gonna, if it doesn't serve you, cut it off and focus on the ones that do serve you, and that, because you need that right now, at least for the next year, and then you can revisit those other ones. Don't burn them bridges. You can bulldoze them, because you can build them later.
Ooh,
but
okay.
Right?
I love it. So the bricks are there. They're just on the ground for now.
They're still there. They're still there. But focus on you and what makes you happy, and do it, because you don't know what's to come tomorrow. That's the reality. And in this political climate and state of the United States of Americans and the world, you got to make you happy for sure. Like,
yeah, I agree. And what does resilience mean to you on the track and off the track?
Honestly, resilience for me looks like showing up. So on the track, that means you might be going through erasure, or what it's called, but girl, you need to get in that gym at least 3 days a week and make sure you put that work in. Don't play with me. Yeah, you said you want to be an Olympian, right? You're doing this alone, right? You have no coaches, right? You have no therapist, right? The only thing that you have is you and track, right? And God. So what you got to do 3 days a week, get up and go, period. That's one. And then the other thing is, we'll always remember that you have a purpose in life, like, and that is to be the change that you want to see, and the change doesn't stop. So on the track, that's how I show up. And then outside of that is like showing up for people every single day that looks like me and that doesn't look like me, because if I'm a good person to everybody, whether you deserve it or not, hey, I was on the good side and I showed up being a good person and, you know, leading with love first and moving forward. I don't match energies. I change it or I leave the room.
Ooh.
So that's one thing that I do outside off the track, is that I really try to put my best foot forward every single time. Because why am I going to be negative? I know I have a lot of reasons to do it, but like it doesn't serve me any purpose, and I don't like being ugly. So quite frankly,
and negativity, it's ugly.
It's an ugly thing.
It's ugly.
Yeah.
But you know what's not? Love and positivity and kindness
me.
and you.
No, absolutely though. And then like you could be an ugly person and still be nice and kind, and I promise you, people will love you. Like, you listen. Yeah. You will be married with kids, because you know girls can't be ugly.
Yeah. Right.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Bloopers.
Yeah,
no,
I'm kidding. Yes.
No,
yes,
but I love that, and it's just beautiful. And so I know that your most recent projects, and then also what's to come, is you just wrote a book, Make It Count.
Make It Count.
And where did the inspiration from Make It Count? I know there's probably a bajillion reasons, but where did the inspiration come to write the book?
Honestly, from that quote. Be the change that I want to see in the world, and to do it for my people. Mm-hmm. And the fact that I want to see a physical manifestation of my dreams on that stage, and there is not one yet. Mm-hmm. So I have to pave that way. And the inspiration came from, you know, also like little Cece, like she wanted to see that physical manifest. So I have to do it for her. Yeah.
Okay. So if you were to have one play date with your younger self, what would be something that you would tell her then?
Oh my God. First of all, I'm going to take her shopping, right? We're going to go out. We're going to get water things. And I would tell her to keep shining and to keep being an athlete and to dominate. And to never hold back.
I love it.
Never hold back. Just do it full force and go for it 100%, because they can't take that away from you. They can't take your greatness away from you. So be great.
I love it. Oh my gosh, you're amazing.
And keep being positive, because I was really I was a positive person, but I was so like, my mom literally told me that I smiled too much.
What? Mm-hmm. It's not possible.
She was like, you smile too much and people are going to like see that as soft.
Don't they usually tell you to smile more? Like people in general, you're like, I'm like, oh my God. Which one is it?
But yeah.
You're like in the middle?
Yeah, I'm like, which one is it?
Is it
like help me.
At the end of every episode, because we get deep on here, you know, I always ask some really just silly questions just to wrap it up, you know. If your victory lap dance, hold on. Let me back it up. If your victory lap after a race had to be done in any dance style, which would you pick?
Oh my God, a twerk for sure. What? Yo, do you want me?
Like,
I will, like a little. Yo, yes. My dance style after winning or making the Olympic team is gonna be a bra coat.
Okay.
One drop. Okay. It's a Jamaican dance move. It's called one drop. Yes.
Look.
And then the mega knees.
Yes.
When she's like on her knees and she's like, wow. Yeah. Is her knees okay?
Yeah. You're going to be pulling one of those. I'm going to watch you on TV and I'm going to be watching you and I'll be like, do the move.
I will. Oh my God, the one drop. Oh my God, the one drop with mega knees. That's the one for sure.
Okay, so if the starting pistol at a track meet was swapped out for a random sound effect, which sound effect would it be? Would you want it to be?
Oh my God, at the starting whistle. Honestly, I'm into this phrase lately, and I think it's an Ice Spice phrase, and she says, gra. Oh my God, can you imagine? Gra.
And you're
gone. Like, gra. Don't say it twice. Gone. Can't tell me twice.
I'm dying right now.
Like,
wait, there's this TikToker that I follow that does like Kardashian sound effects, and he's like, yeah. That's what I would make.
Okay.
Like, yeah.
Okay.
It's like, no.
No.
That's what I would pick. Don't know why. That just came to my mind when you said,
No. I think I've heard that phrase too.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Totally. One time.
Okay. If you can let everyone know how to find you on social media and follow your journey and all the projects to come.
If you want to find me on social media, I keep singing into the mic when the mic could just hear me from just regular, right?
That was amazing, actually. What?
Thank you so much.
She sings.
You can catch me on TikTok. No, don't do that, actually. Don't do that. Instagram, CeCé Telfer. Facebook, CeCé Telfer. At CeCé Telfer. Threads, CeCé Telfer. At CeCé Telfer. CC, that's CeCeTelfer. I think they did put it into one word, just like spell it out like that.
Got it.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
But it almost sounded like a song for a sentence. At CeCé Telfer. At CeCé Telfer. At CeCé Telfer. At CeCé Telfer. Hey, there you go. That's all you need right there.
Right? I'm telling you.
I adore you. For this being the first time we've met, I'm like, this has been amazing. And thank you so much for sharing your story with me. Honestly, you're an inspiration. And I know that you're going to kill it. 2028, Los Angeles. Let's go. You're
going to be there with me.
Yeah. And then I'm going to be there like when you went and I'll be like, drop it low. Yes.
Gra. No, you're just going to say gra. You're going to get the crowd to say gra and it's going to be over.
Perfect.
It's going
to be it. That's all you do.
My love, thank you for your time. Thank you for having me here.
Oh my God, you're amazing.
And thank you for being so patient with me.
No, of course.
Get into the mic.
And that's a wrap on this episode of She Comes With Baggage. If you've loved this conversation, please make sure to follow She Comes With Baggage on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube for more content and behind-the-scenes moments. And if you're tuning in on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or any other audio platform, please don't forget to leave a review. I love hearing from you. Your support helps to keep these conversations going. And just remember, if you are carrying any baggage, you're not alone, and we're all more alike than we might realize. See you soon.